All right, what is up, guys? Welcome back to Late Night Shots podcast, episode 76. So, we got a lot of current events coming up, some things to foreshadow. And I think first things first, Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. Saturday, pay per view was on Thriller, $50. Will I be buying it? For the meme, possibly. Most likely, I will be finding a stream. Please don't monetize me for saying that. But, yeah, that's big news. We'll be talking about that later on. So, a couple of things I know it's been talking about a lot about the Olympics and a lot of matches going into it. So, obviously we talked about Gable at 125 kilos. We talked about David Taylor at 86. I think weight class we haven't talked about that I think is going to be decently interesting this year is 97 kgs with Abdul
Yes.
Rashid Sajalayev from Russia, Mohammed Hussein Mohammedian from Iran, Kyle Snyder from the USA, and a few other guys, right? A lot of people saying the Snyder win gold. I could go in all the technical analysis. Might I say right now, no. Right? We'll talk about that more as we go into also. Some other big things that happened. I think we talked about the World Team Trials. If you guys haven't seen that episode, go check that out. We might go into depth if I get some questions about it, but who knows at this point, right? So,
Yeah.
Let's start off with Jake Paul versus Ben Askren, so you can get started.
If you think Jake Paul
if you
wins this
want.
fight, you hate combat sports or you just don't know it. I have been legitimately listen, boxing has been dead for like a while just because of like this YouTubers coming in shit. And I know that some people are like, it puts eyes on the sport. It puts the worst possible eyes on the sport. Not people who actually appreciate it for what it is. They just want to see these people fight. Jake Paul is not a professional boxer. He may be by definition, by technicality, but he's not fought any actual fighters. His camp has shown that he just does not know what the fuck he's doing. Am I going to deny that? Maybe he's passionate about the sport, sure, but it partially feels like just some rich kid wants to play cool. Ben Askren is an actual fighter. He is an actual combat athlete who has been in there with the best and has only lost twice. And I want to point to his Robbie Lawler win. Jake Paul is not knocking him out. Robbie Lawler, a killer for the past 20 years, ran a goddamn bus through his face, and Ben did not get finished. If you think that a dude who takes punches from I hate this dude's name, who eats punches from Robbie Lawler like they're breakfast, then you just don't know anything about this.
So
I
I'm
want
gonna jump
Ben
in right
Askren to
here.
just pick him up and throw him on his head. That's what I want.
All right, I'm gonna let you get right back to it, but I'm gonna jump in right here. You seem pretty passionate about this, but all right, we're gonna hop in. Again, sorry if my voice sounds a little bit messed up, guys. I might have COVID. I gotta get tested tomorrow. Don't worry, I'm fine. I don't think it is, but we're just playing safe at this point. Quarantined in my room at home, but this a lot comes to who's more famous, Jake Paul, right? I know we all view Ben Askren as like GOAT status on like social media influence wise in the wrestling community. He had, I think, his 855,000 followers on Instagram as I just checked. I mean, like,
he's pretty fucking funny.
He's top tier in social media influence. Like, who do you have up there in social media influence, right? Obviously you have UWW,
Gable, RBY,
the two big sources, right? Not even that low. I mean, Ben Askren's 855,000. Jordan Bros has around 690,000. Sajalayev is about 1.1 million. Hassan Yazdani has about 700,000. And those are like the only guys I'm really talking about. Jordan Bros, I think, is the only American wrestler with any sort of say, and that's just because he's been so big of an ambassador for sport and he's been so dominant for so long, right?
Yep.
Ben Askren's 855,000. Most from that, I think he's gained over 200,000 since he signed the contract for his Jake Paul fight. He's been invited to like so many things. These are all to get your brand named out there. Obviously, a good amount of them are just their fanboys, but you also have to assume that like a good amount of these people that are rooting for Jake Paul, a lot of it comes to picking by appearance, right? If I were to show you a picture from, heavyweight, let's throw us back, Rulon versus Skrellin, I would ask you who won this match. Who would you say? That's exactly where that comes in. You know,
Yeah,
I
dude,
also
Morella.
wouldn't say Ben has that bad of a body. I wouldn't say Jake Paul has that great of a body. That's just probably more of an exaggerated response right there. But
That is one thing that's always tripped me out. Like everyone always talks about, oh, Ben wasn't really in that great shape. He wasn't really in that great shape by wrestler standards, which is just freaky. Because if you look at him at 74 kilos, he's lean. He's like
you know,
chiseled at 74 kilos.
I think the one
But
guy you can
by
compare him to would be Bo Nickel, build wise. Just like
Bo's
it's not
kind
like
of jacked.
not
He's not like
really.
bodybuilder.
He's lean. He's like insanely. He's kind of like scrawny for the weight when you compare him to a guy like David Taylor, Zahid Valencia, Miles Martin, Gabe Dean. He's small.
I mean, those guys are all like broader in the shoulders, but
Yeah, no, that's a big
David
part.
Taylor's pretty young now.
Yeah,
David Taylor's pretty
obviously.
fucking
I
young.
mean, 74 was just too small of a weight for him. It's not a weight he should have ever been at.
Yes.
Also, you know what? Bubba Jenkins follows me on Instagram. Just found that out.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, but I'll let you go back to your rant now. Have fun with
Fuck
this.
Jake Paul. Fuck Jake Paul. If Ben loses this fight, mark my words on this Late Night Shots episode 76. If Ben Askren loses, I'm going to spend the next 10 years boxing just to punch Jake Paul in the face. Not even to like sign a contract. I just want to punch him in the face. That's all I'm gonna do.
You got a clip for the
I hope
TikTok right there?
I hope that when Ben wins, that Jake Paul will retire and boxing can kind of cut out with the like YouTube star bullshit. Just because like it's a dead sport and this is just kind of kicking the corpse. And like it's like there's people who are like real fans of the sport. Now I'm getting this passionate about it. I'm just more passionate about combat sports in general. But you know, you want to be a fan of boxing, but it's got this problem like there's too many promotions with too many padded records and belts. No one wants to cooperate. Payday, like people use the payday negotiations way too much, so they'll just ask for higher and higher numbers until a fight gets called off. And this Jake Paul versus Ben Askren shit, it just bugs me because Jake Paul wants to, he thinks he's going to legitimize himself as a boxer by fighting an MMA pro that never really was known for his hands. Askren looks a lot better with the new hip. He looks fine now. Like he was like entirely stiff. He just could not move properly. But now, like, I mean, no, he's not like this incredible boxer. But
yeah. So and we'll hop in. You know, I want to look at this from strictly a marketing perspective, which I think people don't really pay too much attention to. Right? They don't care whether you like them or not. Their goal, they want you to buy the pay-per-view. Right?
Yeah.
They want to get sponsors. They want to make money. Ben's not doing this because he needs to prove anything. You may think that he may do anything. He's doing this because he wants money.
Yep.
And what is it, like 8 figures? What's 8 figures? Like 10 mil?
$1 million.
10 mil?
Oh, yeah, 10 million. Oh, sheesh.
10 mil.
So
I would let Muhammad Ali sock me in the face. I might be in coma for a couple years, but I would let that happen for 10 mil. You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference, like, it's not all about money. It's not all about that. Money changes people, you know?
Yep.
And to be completely honest, I'm on Ben's side. Even if it was a mil, you know, maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm on his side. You know, you can give me $100,000. I'll gladly go out and fight fucking Jake Paul. You know, like you have to think about it.
Like a lukewarm can of Pepsi.
Yeah, like as it's been said though, wrestling is a blue collar sport. There's not much money in this sport, and you know now that's changing. Luckily, right? But only the top tier guys can only really make a living. If you're not top 5, 6 in the country, you're not even getting a full scholarship, unless you're one of these super highly touted recruits. You know, obviously, I know talking about a lot. Greg Kirkfield, like Andrew Alvarez, Dylan Ragusin, those younger guys who are gonna get to the next level, you know? Right, you know, these older guys, veterans making a little bit of benefits, you know. Obviously run back to Minnesota, Tony Nelson, right? Yeah. He's obviously gonna get they want to keep him there just the same price with Gabe. That's really what it is. And he's also 2-time national champ, 3-time national finals. He's done more than Gable has, except for making an Olympic team.
Yeah.
Right. To say that, I don't think he's sold out. Your biggest part of your personal brand is Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Maybe TikTok if you're on all that. I think it's really been underestimated as a platform to gain money, gain subscribers, and all that. I think Ben has done it very well, right? And you have to consider it's kind of a win-win for either wrestler because no matter who wins, it can be written off either way. Jake Paul gets his ass kicked. Oh, Ben's literally a former UFC fighter.
Yeah, so like
Jake Paul's a
actually,
nobody.
I saw someone did point out that like Jake Paul has kind of like everything to lose, just in the sense that, I know you just said like no one really loses because like, oh, he's a former UFC fighter. Ben has like no hands. Like,
and that's why it can be written off the other way,
with,
right?
Like a real boxer, then he gets the shit just absolutely. He gets embarrassed. But if Jake Paul loses, he lost to a UFC fighter with 0 hands, and by all means, kind of an old man combat sports wise.
See, here we put that into perspective, right?
Yeah.
UFC fighter, whether he has hands or not, is pretty much irrelevant. It's going to be put down as UFC fighter.
That is what I've been saying.
No. What you have to understand, that's for marketing. That's not to make anybody look bad or worse, good or bad, right? You have to understand everything they write and how they write it is done on purpose.
Yeah.
For that fact in particular. If Ben loses, he has no hands. He's a washed up old man. He's not in the best of shape. Did he just have like surgery or something too a while back?
That was a hip replacement.
That surgery? I'm consider that surgery? Yeah, right. No, if Jake loses, I don't think Jake cares. Jake's gonna get more fights no matter if he wins or loses. Like, right, even if you won back to Nate Robinson, right?
Can someone concuss him already? For the love of God.
Bro, we gotta get Logan versus Jake Paul. Might as well. See, Logan's the one I actually like too. He's not bad.
Logan would beat Logan's kind of all right now.
I mean Logan's also like a good 30 pounds bigger, but
yeah, and an actual athlete.
I mean, they both weren't bad. Like I remember Ben Askren was pointing out when Ben Darmstadt kicked his ass. I was like, what? I get like you're trying to make a point, but Ben Darmstadt is like a legitimate good wrestler. Like he's a whole ass D1 All-American.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that's where it just comes to like, sometimes kind of distraction. I know Ben, who's going to say anything about that for the sole fact that Ben's a 2-time national champ and a 4-time national finalist, right?
And pretty much the godfather of modern scrambling. Along with Saitya.
I don't know about Saitya. Nobody really watches stuff anymore.
If you don't know Saitya,
you know I'm right too. There's so many old wrestlers, and it even runs back to like Greco-Roman wrestling is the original form of the sport.
Well, I thought it was the Greeks that freestyle for no, because Greco-Roman was like some French dude found like old diagrams, and that was what they thought wrestling was. That's why it's called parterre.
Just listen to what I said. I'm not even going into all that. That's way too much right now. I heard this somewhere. We're just running with that. I just thought I would think of a cool fact. Whether it is or it isn't, right? You think of Greco-Roman wrestling. You think of the past of Greco-Roman wrestling, Alexander Karelin. The Experiment. Alexander the Great. The Russian Bear. A man who had never lost. 788-1. Right?
Right.
Rulon Gardner kind of just enhanced Karelin's legacy even more. I think Karelin is just as...
I don't see it.
Maybe not in our eyes. You also have to realize in Russia, because hear me out, right? I know you said it's way back when, before we were talking about this, right?
Right.
Who did Jordan Burroughs beat in the 2012 Olympic finals?
Yeah.
Exactly. Who did Rulon Gardner beat in the 2000 Olympic finals?
Alexander Karelin.
Exactly.
It's something about his staying power to say that he came in second.
Yeah. And the fact that he ended his career off at second and is still considered the GOAT.
Yeah, but if
Is why.
he had won that match, he would have been possibly the greatest athlete of all time.
I still think there's a
I don't know
debate
enough
for
about
that.
other sports.
I still think there's a debate for that. I just don't think it's that solid. Obviously, there's been a handful of athletes who've achieved the feat of 3 wrestling gold medals, right? Yes, so Sayori Yoshida, she would have had 4, but Helen Morales beat her. Kiyoshi Icho has 4, possibly a little bit easier weight class, but she still has the accolades of world titles. Mihan Lopez, if he didn't throw world titles, if Mihan Lopez wins now, I'll say it. I think he can get the edge over Karelin. Or, at least they're 1A and 1B just tied for that.
Yeah.
But, I think Karelin has done more after his career and during his career, just like kind of Jordan Burroughs. Like, you wouldn't put Jordan Burroughs over John Smith or Bruce Baumgartner, just from a logical standpoint, who's the best, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah, it's like you go to Russia right now. I heard something like, if you want to talk about recency bias, putting Sadulayev over Karelin is the epitome of that. Just by those standpoints, right? And I said somebody DM me today, right? He's like, oh, if Gable takes gold, he's the GOAT behind Karelin. And it takes me a lot to not get pissed about how much of a joke of that statement is.
I mean, I could see it.
How?
Sadulayev hasn't lost.
No.
Snyder.
They said if Gable wins, he's the GOAT behind Karelin. Even with Sadulayev, I wouldn't put him up there just yet, right? Because he still has that loss to Snyder. Whether that's him bumping up a weight class or whatever, right? I know we talked about Yazdani versus Taylor. Yazdani kind of bodied Taylor one of the matches for a little bit, and then he gassed out. He did avenge the loss, and he has won every world title since, except for that one against Snyder. I think he just needs a couple more years to put himself in that status, right? Because I know we're off the rails here, but we'll just section this into this, right? The thing about winning one good gold medal is you're good, right? You gotta be good.
Olympic gold medal.
What?
I mean, 1 Olympic gold medal is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, no. You have to be good. You have to be consistently good, and you have to be consistently good over a long period of time to solidify yourself as a GOAT.
Dude, how the fuck do I have a 101% in econ when I got a C on my last time? Oh, sorry.
I'm failing all my classes. Sorry, but no, I'm not actually. I'm just failing most of them.
Thank fuck, Jesus Christ.
Right, and that's why Karelin's always going to be put over Lopez in that category until Lopez wins a 4th. Right? If Gable were to pop on the international scene, win a gold and dip, the entire world except for us,
not GOAT stuff.
The entire wrestling world except for us will write that off as a fluke.
Yeah, because it's kind of the thing of it's this is saying talked about in a lot of combat sports. It's easier to get to the top. It's harder to stay there. That's why it's such a big deal when someone comes back and wins another Olympic gold or another world championship.
And
right? Because everyone's trying to beat you.
And whenever somebody says that, it always sounds like I'm shitting on Gable. And because Gable sees my stories sometimes, and it's just I feel bad, right? People don't realize you say Gable's on another level. Yeah, I'm okay, compared to Mason Paris, Tony Cassiope, these college guys, Nick Wasdowski. Who the fuck was Nick Wasdowski? I know we all try to gas him up and that. That's just to create hype for the matchup. Right? It all comes down to the fact that, Gable is dominant in the fact that he just scores a lot of points. He doesn't have anything special about him once you get to that level. When you talk about a guy
among heavyweights, he moves really.
Yeah, so does Tahagul.
Yeah, see, because Taha is the one guy in the world who can also pull that off.
Gino is very good at countering motion too, so that's also going to be a problem for him. And Gino,
I'm honestly just excited to see those matches as a fan of wrestling. Those are going to be incredible
matches. Literally like a heavyweight Jordan Burroughs with a 4-in gas tank. Is the best way to explain it. And that sounds so fucking weird. Athleticism
wise, he's double leg most of the time.
God damn it, dude. You're fucking bringing up random ass points. I just meant from an athleticism
It's
standpoint.
Jordan Burroughs. What?
Yes, Gable has a good double leg if that's what you want to hear. Yes.
I know he has a good double. It's just that Jordan Burroughs.
Yeah, he's not lifting up
dropping
290-pound
Dropping
motherfuckers
it.
and just slamming them on their head. Yeah.
dropping it.
If Jordan Burroughs tried to shoot a blast double with a setup against Gable Stevenson, he's snapping his neck. It's not that simple. You know, I know you saw Serrano Francisco pick up this dude and kill the man in the fucking highlight I made for him, but yeah. You know, even if we are talking about like guys against Corral, and I was watching Rulon Gardner. Rulon Gardner followed me today on Instagram.
Oh, sweet.
I told you about this. Yeah. It was wild, right? He sent me the link to the documentary you put out. It was on the Olympic channel, right? It's called Five Rings or something like that. I watched it, right? Guys, when they would wrestle Alexander Karelin, would pin themselves.
Yeah, because they didn't want to be there.
Because they didn't want to get reverse body lifted and possibly paralyzed.
Yeah.
You know what kind of pisses me off is everything that's made about Rulon always tries to make excuses for Karelin, except for this documentary, which is like more neutral sided.
Yeah, I mean, just he trained for that scenario. He implemented the game plan.
He also, interesting enough, something I also learned, which I did not know before this as much as I've already watched. Karelin normally warmed up for about an hour before each of his matches. He did not warm up for the match with Rulon Gardner.
Too busy doing interview stuff?
No, he just didn't.
Why? Because he overlooked him?
Could be that. Could be because he already knew it was going to be his last ever match. He's kind of wanted to relax. I don't know what it is. You know, that's not something I think we're ever going to figure out. At least he comes forward and says something, you know. I think he's moved on to a different part of his life, I think. What most people don't know, he's like a huge political figure in Russia too, right?
Yeah, he's like... I couldn't tell you what he is, honestly.
I couldn't either. I just kind of watched every documentary about him, but I think this is a good gateway section into 97 kilos. I think what you want to call is our second event. 97 kilos. Who's my champ right now?
Sajulayev.
I think that's the go. Yeah, I mean, if you want to say that's cool. But yeah, Abdul Rashid Sajulayev from Russia, defending Olympic champ at 86 kilos. He beat Salim Yazar Salim, something like that in from Iran, I think it is, in the 2016 Olympic finals at 86 kilograms.
I think he teched him. I think he
beat him 6-0.
But I could be wrong.
6-0.
Oh, it's 6-0. I think it was a semis then.
Yeah, Sajulayev teched his way through a tournament.
Yep.
Right, and that's a 20-year-old Sajulayev. I think Sajulayev is either 24, 25.
Jesus.
Meaning he's going to be 28 at the next Olympics, because next Olympics in 3 years. Right. Wins his third in 2024. He wins his fourth, he'd be 32.
Given how good the Russian system is whenever it comes to longevity, that's plausible.
Yeah. You know, something people have to realize is like the reason Karelin gassed out, you know, roids don't exactly do your conditioning in the heart very well.
No, they don't. Neither does being a 6'5", 286-pound man.
Yeah, I think it was 120 kilos back then. I think he had to make 265. Yeah, because that's what I saw in the documentary. That's crazy that they want to make excuses, but they literally weigh the same amount. Because theoretically, it should be easier for Karelin to lift Rulon than Rulon to lift Karelin at that point.
It was 130 kilos back then. It was 287.
It's 286, but
probably rounding up.
No, you have to do this.
See, it's just kind of weird that like a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's the Karelin lift." It just wasn't common at like heavyweight.
Yeah, it's 286.
It existed. Oh yeah. It existed. It just wasn't very common at his weight class.
People are going off on my last post. But
oh my
yeah,
God.
no, I know, but you have to realize names aren't really given to people. I guarantee you somebody's done a low single before John Smith, right? It's always been named after John Smith here. Somebody's done a blast double before Jordan Burroughs.
I don't know if the Russians weren't doing it. If the Russians had no idea what was going on.
Dude, Russians literally be doing some of the weirdest shit during their matches. Like, I don't even know how to explain it.
I studied the shit out of the Russians.
Nah, I kind of like the Russians. Iran is catching up. What's his Yazdani's younger brother too, right? I think some people want to
Yeah.
talk about is Muskayev in the last chance qualifier.
Do you have to win the last chance qualifier to qualify the weight?
No, but
Top two?
Muskayev, Konchakishvili. Who's the guy's name who starts with a B?
Bekbulatov.
Yeah.
Not even gonna take a crack at pronouncing that.
Bekbulatov? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
No, I'm decent with names. I just didn't remember it.
Yeah.
What's the problem here? Who's behind all of them?
Muzakayev has kicked the dog shit out of Konchakishvili before, so if they're on the same side of the bracket, that's bad news.
so have a lot of people at 65.
He's just not the same.
You have to assume, right? What happened when Yazdani bumped to 86?
Okay, that's different. I don't think doesn't look the same in that.
Obviously, I would go as far as saying Konchakishvili was the worst out of the Olympic champs in 2016 in men's freestyle.
Because if not for a bullshit call, Ray Higuchi would have won it all. Thank you
Possibly,
very much.
Ray Higuchi doesn't make weight. That's on him, but pull the Jaden Cox real quick for us.
Dude, I think, I want Jordan Oliver to win because USA, but I also really want Musakayev to win just because he's so goddamn fun.
Yeah, I have Muskayev and Konchakishvili taking first, second, depending on the seats.
At the oh no, because Punya.
Yeah, Bajran's taking the Olympics. Fuck you. Anybody who says otherwise can suck my dick. Yeah, but just in general, right? Yazdani bumps up to 86. Obviously Yazdani's a better wrestler than Konchakishvili is. Sajulai is a better wrestler than they are. And you saw a correlation to an extent, right? Yazdani kind of handled Taylor for a bit, and then he gassed, and he started getting whooped.
That's kind of just how American versus foreigner matches kind of work.
Yeah, but you also have to realize he was giving up a lot of mass. That also has to be said for something. And that's what Sajulai was so good, because he has the ability.
They were both 74 kilo guys, moving up. I mean, I don't think either of them were really completely filled out.
Yeah, but you also realize Yazdani was 74. David Taylor was a 74 because
he cut weight like a madman.
Yeah, that's the best way to say it. Sajulai was an 86. Sajulai will makes him so good is he has a gas tank. And a very fucking good one at that. That's always gonna mean something right there.
Yes.
Even with a lot of this being said, how would you he lost a 6'5" match to Snyder. I think he only weighed 91, 92 kilos. Giving up 11 pounds to a guy who is good as Scott Snyder.
He's known for his physicality.
Yeah, I don't think he's all that compared to the guys that are in the weight class now physically, but I think also have to realize Muhammadin was so young when he wrestled Varner in 2015 and almost beat him.
How old was he? In his teens still? 19?
I think so.
Fuck.
I think Muhammadin and Sajulai are in a league of their own. I think if Cox was there also, he'd be competing for bronze. I was stand on that take, but that's if I say that I get so much shit. But if I go to you talk to any international wrestler, it doesn't even have to be Russian or Iranian, they will agree with that take. That Sajulai and Muhammadin are consensus number 1, number 2, and 97 kilos.
Yeah.
The only argument that there is for Snyder is a gold medal in Rio. Obviously that's a pretty fucking good argument. And a world medal in 2016.
Goddamn good day.
And a medal in 2017, right? The medal in 2017 can be easily disputed. Sajulayev redeemed himself. And Sajulayev also has a gold medal, so you wouldn't be able to write that off with too much of a fluke, even though he did catch and pin him. Right?
If there's any man that's going to figure out how to tell Kyle Snyder how to beat Sajulayev, it's going to be Kale.
Yeah, 100%. Kale has Olympic champion 97 kilos himself, I think.
84.
Or 84 or something like that. Yeah, he was around the same weight class. Coach, some guy named Jake Varner, he might have won something there.
Varner's all good. I've heard about him.
Yeah, I know. The fact that people don't remember who Jake Varner is crazy just because he lost to Snyder.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
You know, that's kind of poor a lot of times. You know, when Snyder won gold, right?
Sure.
I would say I don't think Cox. I think there's a better chance of Cox not placing, to be honest, in '97 based on how he's looked. Be honest, Snyder too. No. I think Kale is the one guy who can get. Fuck, I say not play. I mean, beating Saji Live or Mohammedine, but
Well, I mean,
if there's one guy who can
I don't
game
know.
plan against those guys, you know, who's the one guy who's wrestled? Who are the two guys that have wrestled Mohammedine in the U.S.?
So you said Varner and Snyder.
Varner, right? Where does Varner coach?
Nittany Lion.
And where does Kyle Snyder wrestle? You
Nittany
see how
Lion.
things are perfectly falling into place now?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
like obviously Sajulai is the guy I think who
lost
just
to Mohammedian.
Huh?
You're talking about two guys who have lost to Mohammedian.
No, Varner beat him.
Oh, you said he had a close match 6-5, not that he. Oh yeah. Nice.
No, 6'5" was Sajulai and Snyder. Varner beat Mohammedian 3-3 on criteria.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I literally posted a TikTok on my page, damn. But yeah, no, even with a lot of that, it's like so interesting because you know, was it Sharpov was at 97 before?
Yeah, Sharifov.
Sharpov?
Yeah.
He's at 125
Yeah,
now.
I think that's what it is. He fucking moved up? Damn.
I think so. Because Sajulai beat him. And I think, you know, if I was in Mohammedian shoes, do I move up to 125 and test my luck? No, I would say no for the sole fact that, you know, I wouldn't give Sajulai the edge of Tago right now, at least, from what I've seen so far.
Oh, I want to see that match so bad.
Or
That'd be
Gino, for that
freaking-
matter, you know, what's his name? Kumo Gasemi. You know, if I post a video of him, what's that dude built like? Like an absolute nothing. Dude's built like the fucking Lorax. Is the best way to put it. But you know, he beat the living shit out of Gino Petrovilli in the Olympic semifinals.
Oh, is that
in
like the 5'6" dude at Rio?
Yeah. like he's good.
Yeah.
Like it's so like you talk about brains versus bronze. Like he's the epitome of that. Like him, Robbie Smith. You compare Robbie Smith, right, to Adam Kuhn, and you think, like, how did Adam Kuhn ever lose to that dude? And
Good
get
point.
7-2'd.
Yeah.
You know, like, granted, you know, Kuhn was decently young. I think, what was he, a sophomore in college at this point? Not exactly the easiest thing. Yeah. But, you know, I think Sajulayev first, Mohammedian second, Snyder one of the bronzes. I mean, it doesn't really matter which bronze, but
yeah,
you know, I do think
I'm
that's
gonna go
unless
turn on the light real quick. My eyes hurt.
Mohammedian. I think it's unless Mohammedian gets placed on the same side of the bracket as Sajulayev, you know, then that becomes a problem. You know.
Yeah.
See a lot of things. I think if anybody may have a burnout run, you know, it's probably Kyle Snyder.
Yeah.
You know, like, who's the one guy that I think doesn't legitimately have a chance of meddling? Gilman. I mean, it just has to be said. You know, I think he can claim a bronze, but he would need, like, I wouldn't say a perfect run. I would just say very good run to claim that at this point in his career. I think we can both agree on that. Right?
Yeah.
I think a guy like Dake, a guy like Taylor is not going to have trouble getting on the podium. It's whether they can finish. You know, Taylor's not a guy like that, but I don't think he's going to take anybody for granted. He's very sound in his preparation. I think Dake is also, I think Dake more comes. There's a lot more talent with that weight class and a lot more depth of talent. You have Sidkov, you have Sablov, is that 74 too? Or does he wrestle for Russia or something? Doesn't he wrestle for like Azerbaijan?
Yeah, he transferred, I think.
Right. Chamizo cannot be counted out right there.
At 74?
I'm not counting out Chamizo.
Sidikov is just
It's going to be a closer matchup than it was in 79, right? I've said this before. I think I'll still stand on that. But, they both did beat Jordan Bros in the recent match. Either way you want to put it. But I don't think Dake gets that gut right to 74. That's all I'm going to say.
Why would he not get that gut wrench in 74?
Shimizu was giving him a good amount of weight. Did you see what Shimizu looked like?
Kyle is still the bigger dude at 74.
Yeah, and you also realize Shimizu relaxed. You have to realize he's still a world-class wrestler, and those small mistakes.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. But, I mean...
He relaxed.
Well,
Shimizu looked fat at 76 kilos. Shimizu was undersized for 74 at that.
Yeah.
At that point in his career.
I think he's a full-blown 74 at this point. His legs have gotten huge.
At this point, not at that point.
Yeah.
You have to remember, and have we seen so many times before, foreign wrestlers come into the U.S., everything's against them.
Yeah.
How often do we see these top-ranked foreign guys lose in our country and proceed to whoop our asses outside the country?
Yeah.
There's a guy named Bajrang Punia. Prime example of that. Uses Tiani to beat the streaks. Okay, he beats Zayn, beats Jordan Oliver, beats Joey McKenna. Comes back to the U.S., gets 6-0'd by Zayn Rutherford. Obviously he won the 150 bracket, beat James Green, Anthony Ashton, and Pat Lugo, right? But let's be honest, who are any of those guys when it comes down to it?
Well, I think that's just a matter of, they improved since they last met.
What? No, it's just like it's just a different environment. You have to realize that. But
yeah,
if we run into Tokyo, how many guys there are actually going to be rooting for us?
Literally none, because they're not allowing foreign fans.
2016.
Unless the Japanese really appreciate good wrestling, people talk about
I think the one country Iran, that actually likes us is Iran. The one country that likes us is Iran.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? Who's the one guy who's going to be wrestling an Iranian? Most likely in the Olympic finals. David Taylor.
Sorry, pardon?
Who's the one guy who's going to be wrestling an Iranian in the Olympic finals? Yeah, they're going to be against us. Right there. There's things you have to realize. Like when we're in the U.S., this is like saying, okay, let's send Gable Steveson to a tournament in Japan. Right?
Right.
Okay, let's send to a tournament like Turkey or something. Let's say they're all in an even matchup right now. Right? You have 10 people there from your own team. Their stadium's packed. Right. They're all cheering for Taha. What's Gable's one thing that he thrives off of? The fans.
The crowd.
Mm-hmm. What's he not going to have in that environment?
The crowd.
Exactly. You know how many people were rooting for Bajrang to lose that one time?
Which one time?
Against Yanni beat the streets?
Yeah.
What's his name? Really.
Was that the start of Yanni's momentum? Nah, winning the national championships in overtime. I mean, in terms of on the freestyle scene,
that was not too, but that's cool and all. Where Yanni had a fucking jank ass wizard and was literally draped over the fucking body. That was fucking terrible. That was not too. I don't even care about your videos. But yeah, no, a lot of this is damn. But, final opinions. Does Jo qualify 65?
Yes, he qualifies it.
You think so?
I think he qualifies.
I don't think so.
I think Musakaya beats his ass in the finals, but
I think the first guy with the fucking B in his name. I watched a good amount of him. I don't see it, and I think Kachuk is really going to somehow sneak by.
I don't see Bekulov really making a lot of noise.
I think Kachuk is really beating him too.
Oh well, Bekulov, yeah, he beat Bekulov.
See, but you also have to realize, even if he doesn't qualify, he's mostly going to somehow get to the bid to the Olympics because somebody's going to fail a doping test, which happens every fucking time.
Fair
You
enough.
know how many times the USA hasn't qualified all of our weight classes, and we kind of get stuff thrown to us because we're just next in line there.
I genuinely actually don't know a single example of that, except for, we technically won the London 2012 Olympic wrestling after like that Russian fella got caught.
Nah, it happens a lot, like these world tournaments, everything. I don't know this person because they all get kind of thrown away. Because how many people are watching the wrestling Olympics if Russia's competing? A lot less. You know, who are the two biggest countries in wrestling? USA and Russia.
Yeah. Well,
Obviously,
Iran.
I mean, they're on the come up. They're just not on the level yet, and they don't have the history behind it.
Egypt. They fucking love Greco.
What? I'm just talking about right now.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's the two legacies. It's like, right? If we put it together, USA versus Russia dual meet.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I mean, what would the score technically be? Who's at 57?
Team score in freestyle gives me a genuine headache.
I would just say 4 for attack and 3 for decision, and 2 for criteria win.
Yeah, because isn't it like it's something weird? Like if you get a tech, it's more points, but if you get a tech and they score some points, they actually get some team points. I don't know, man. It's so weird.
Oh, that's just make up for tech and major, because you're not getting shut out.
Yeah.
Anyways, that kind of seems stupid.
Yeah, it's daft.
Yeah. What was the other one? No, we talked about Jordan Burroughs, 79 kilos. I think if you haven't listened to that one, it's the episode previous to this one. I think that one was a very interesting episode, to say the least.
It was. Yeah.
Crazy we never did PSU versus Iowa.
We can do that next episode, I suppose.
Yeah. All right, I think that's probably it for today. So, all right, guys. Thank you guys for watching Late Night Shots Podcast. It's been episode 76, and we'll see you guys again next time.
All right, peace.